Hello teacher friends! Are you interested in teaching English on iTalki? Well, today I have a list of 20 activities that you can do with your students today. Most of them require zero materials, everything is for free online, and they range from beginner level activities to advanced level activities. Before I get started, I want to thank Elle, who commented on one of my videos asking for this explanation. So we're going to start with activity number 1, guess who. This is not your typical guess who. It could be as advanced as you want. So I want you to go onto Google Images, look up random people, different emotions. You'll see a picture of a bunch of different people who have different emotions, who look different personalities. So you could use Guess Who for lower level students, just explaining what they look like. Or you could go into personality traits, and this is where things get a bit spicier, things get a little bit more difficult, and it could be a great way to introduce new vocabulary. Awesome. Number 2, directions. Go back on Google Images, that's where you'll find most of your stuff, and get a picture of a map of a generic town. It's best if it's like a cartoon map, so maybe you could type in ESL map of town. And basically you're going to practice saying directions, giving directions with your students. Turn right here, turn left here, hang a right, hang a left, just around the corner. You could build up more and more vocabulary, and this could be tailored for just about any level. Number 3, quizzes. This is my fallback for every lesson. I don't use this for every lesson. I only use quizzes for maybe 20% of my lessons. But I usually use them when I'm teaching a new topic, a topic that I haven't taught before. And this is a great way to get inspiration for new activities and new ideas, because basically you and your student are, let's say it's about sleep. That's what the topic is. You could look up, a quiz about what does my dream mean, or something like that. And you could complete this quiz with your students, and that will give you that will hopefully trigger some ideas that you could use in future classes, and you could kind of figure it out on the go. So this is definitely a great thing to start your classes with, and it is free. Yes. Number 4, spot the synonym. Yeah, so when you're doing some sort of reading, you could give them out a few words and just tell them to look for the synonym for those words. You could also do it with match the definition if you want to as well. Perfect. Number 5, a dictograph. Dictograph. So this is basically a dictation. What you're going to do is read something to your students. It's best if it's at a lower level than they are. They have to remember as much as they can, and then write as much as they can down, as much as they could remember. This is great for their writing skills, for their writing fluency. It's great for their listening fluency, and you could also go over it after and correct the grammar errors. So it's great for grammar as well, because I could guarantee you they're not going to get every single word correctly, just like you or I would. Excellent. Scrabble. Okay, I know we're getting to the basics right here, but Scrabble can be done online. All you need is a bunch of letters, Generate a bunch of random letters. If you're not using random word, random adverb, random verb, random letter generators online, I really suggest that you do. I use them for so many different things, whether if it's vocabulary or grammar exercises. But go online, look for a random letter generator, generate 10 letters. Okay, here, put as many words as you can together with these words. If you want, you could even have it for a specific vocabulary topic for the topic of the day. Excellent. Number 7 is role play. You could role play. I've done this with talking about houses and buying houses with my students. I know it's a little bit higher level. Basically, I will I will create, present an advertisement for a house for lease or a house for rent, pretending I'm a landlord. And then I will have them present their own. And then when they finish, I will call them and pretend to be a potential tenant who is trying to rent this unit off of them. So this is a really good chance to kind of catch your students by surprise if you have the students who could bear that, I suppose. And if you're ready to think on the fly, just prepare a few students and a few questions for your students and a few students as well, hopefully. And this could be a really good activity. Number 8, these are ordering. Yeah. So if you look up any blog about, I don't know, a top 10 list, top 10 future technologies that people are excited about, top 10 common places to go when you want to go on holiday, something like that. A top 10 New Year's resolutions. Look that up with your student, read it together, and then have your students order it from first priority to last priority. Explain why. That's 10 minutes right there, and it's a great way for your students to kind of practice organizing their speech. Excellent. Next one, categorizing. It's along the same lines. Give your students a bunch of different words. If you want, you could do it with pictures. You could look up random picture generator, generate 15 pictures, and have them categorize these pictures. Like, what pictures could go together and why? Maybe these ones are about nature, these ones are about animals, these ones are about, I don't know, places on the street. Yeah. You could do it with words as well. Which words are similar? You know, which ones are adjectives, which ones are verbs, which ones are nouns. You could go into grammar as well. Number 10, similarities. Yeah, exactly. It's along the same lines, but I play it in this way. I look up a random picture generator, and it will have 10 pictures. And I will tell my students that they have to explain the pictures using similarities between them. So for example, if it's something like like water, and then there's a bottle, you could say these are for drinking, yeah, and the other person has to guess what the objects are, right? So this could be a good way for them to look at similarities, to think very critically, and believe me, when it gets to the end, it's almost impossible to think. It will be difficult for you as a teacher as well, but honestly, sometimes the students are more creative than the teacher is, at least in my situation. Okay, 20-second movie, 20-second book, 20-second anything. So this is done, especially if you're talking about pop culture, right? So if you play a 20-second movie, you could just explain Harry Potter really fast in 20 seconds. This really tests their scanning for words when they're listening, and it really tests their accuracy when they're listening as well, to listen for specific words. So this could be done as long as you're using movies that are relevant to your students, that your students have actually used. So make sure or try your best to find movies or actors or TV shows or sports or anything that are of interest to your students. Okay, perfect. Riddles. Riddles are great. They're best for advanced level students, but they could even be fun for lower level students as well, if you could find some easier ones. Or any puzzles that you could find online, even if they're visuals, right? Like, how many sides does this shape have? Well, one of those that we see online sometimes. So yeah, so try these out with your student. Even if they are not specifically linguistic, they could present their ideas and they could give their answer in English, and that's what the important thing is. Perfect. Guess the title. This is really good for creativity and vocabulary and reading, right? So they will either listen to, yeah, it could be good for listening to. They could listen to or read a segment of an article, maybe the summary or maybe just the introduction, and then just guess what the title is. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. Let them know It's okay if you don't get it right. I don't expect you to know it. But at least this will have them think about ways that they could categorize and put things into a box, put a title on things. There we go. Awesome. Chain stories are really good as well. These are great, especially with lower level learners and younger learners as well. A chain story could be great. It's exactly how it sounds. We're just telling a story sentence by sentence. If you want to do this with a higher level student, you could even do it with chain paragraphs and see how well they could match your standard of writing in comparison to theirs. Okay, perfect. The next one is say what you see, and this is the only one that's actually going to require any materials, physical materials. I think I've explained this one before, but basically with say what you see, you'll have a whiteboard like this, and then you'll draw something that represents a phrasal verb. Yeah, so for example, if you wish, you could draw something simple like this one. So that is sit down. Or you could draw something a little bit more difficult. Let's see how many of you guys get this one. If you get this, write it in the comments. Okay. Perfect. I'll give you a few seconds to look at that. This is cool. It's like a recorded class. Okay, so this is look into it. Okay, so we'll follow along. Look, whoops, where are we? Look into it. Look into it. Yeah. So that would be more for advanced level students. Honestly, I've had 2 students who have ever gotten that one. But these could be really good for kind of testing the mind and looking at things critically in another language. Again, this isn't something you want to do for 30 minutes. You know, this is something that you want to do for a few seconds. So if you come up with a riddle or say what you see, or a joke even, make sure that these puzzles are very, very short. Perfect. Okay. The next one is would you rather. Would you rather? There are articles with 300, 400 would you rather questions. Would you rather always be cold or always be warm? Would you rather live in the future, live in the past? These are great for using conditionals. All right, so it could be great for some grammar right there. Number 18, retell a story from a different perspective. So tell them to think about a story that happened or to make one up that have at least 3 characters. After that, you as the teacher will retell the story from a different character's perspective. So the second character. And then they will have to retell the story from the third character's perspective. So they're kind of mirroring what you do, but maybe if it's a higher level student, they could kind of put in more of their creativity. They could think critically about how they felt due to their role in the story. And I know we're getting really deep into English right here, but it's a great way to exercise their growing, blossoming minds. All right, number 19 is a little bit less profound. It's define a word. Simple. Just define a word. Like, how often do I do that in English class or in the classes of languages I'm learning? Defining a word is really important because there's going to be a lot of misunderstandings and miscommunications in language. Even if you're an advanced level student, it still happens. Being able to define a word is really important, especially in another language. So try to get them to do this as early as possible. And if you need them to use pictures and to define what that is, they could go for it as well. The final activity, number 20, is I spy. I know it sounds childish, but honestly, you could do it with your own surroundings. If you have a webcam, an adjustable webcam that actually comes off your computer, it's the best because then you could just take it off your computer and just show them what you have outside, what you have in your surroundings. And I find that just works like a charm because for me, I live on a farm. There's a lot outside. There are many things to see. So if you construct different questions for them, make it a little bit difficult, that could be great for advanced level students, or for lower level students, you could just ask them, what do you see? Yeah. Okay, perfect, awesome. I hope that helps you out. I know when I started on iTalki, I wanted this. I wanted 20 activities that I could do free without any materials except for one, say what you see. So I really hope this helps you out with your experience on iTalki, or just on any online learning platform, or even in the class, to be honest with you. When the pandemic's over, I'm sure you'll be able to use a good few of these in the classroom as well. So if you have any suggestions that I did not include, please throw them in the comments below. If you have any questions about these, let me know as well. I would be happy to provide direct links to the actual material that I use as well, the specific pictures, for example, or specific readings. So let me know. For now, thank you for watching, and keep smiling.